Hey YouTube, I am back with another review of Bridgerton. We are on part 2 of season 3, episode 6. Let's get into it. So this episode opens up with, of course, everyone talking about Cressa being revealed as Lady Whistledown. A lot of people can't believe it. Some of them are not surprised. They are not backstabbing, cruel Cressida. Yes, her. And some can't wait to see the next episode, see what she writes next. Meanwhile, Penelope is in her room, the real Lady Whistledown, air quotes, and she is feverishly writing, threatening to expose Cressida. Writing some scathing articles like basically she's a fraud, and but she keeps balling them up, throwing them away, and suddenly she has a visitor. The visitor is Colin. Colin has stopped by, so her mom is hovering, pretending to fluff up the flowers. She's literally fluffing flowers, just chaperoning the visit, making sure nothing is defiled. He stops by to see how she's doing, wanting to know what she has to tell him. It's a good thing that the mom is suffering, because she says, we can't talk about it right now. Anywho, she also puts her hands behind her back because she notices that she has ink all over her hands. Well, Colin has brought a ring that he's had, redone and perfectly set. It's a family heirloom, and he puts it on her fingers, and he's like, what's all this ink? You've been writing? And she's like, yeah, just letters, just about our news. And he says, So anyway, he kisses her hand, tells her that he loves her, and he won't, keep her any longer. So Colin is gone. Meanwhile, Cressida's dad is ticked. The old man lord has rescinded his offer. He will not have a gossip columnist or whatever as his bride. He promised him one of virtue and of poise and dignity, and this is not it. So, and if she thinks she gonna live under his roof and work and earn money under his roof, she can think another thing. He's sending her to live with her aunt somebody, and she's like, that's in Wales, you can't do that. He's like, yeah, you can write your gossip about the sheep, and storms off. Her mom's like, listen, you can rescind this. Just tell him that you had too much to drink. You had, come undertaken or whatever that is. Basically, she was drunk and she misspoke. She's like, so you don't believe it's me? Her mom's like, no, I know my daughter. You have many talents. That's not it. Just then, the armed people come in, and the queen has summoned her to the palace. It's getting real for Cressida, y'all. So Lady Bridgerton and her new beau, I might as well call him her new beau, honey, because the way they smiling and flirting and all of that, they seem to be kicking it off pretty well. He's quote unquote calling on her now. And the beau is Lady Danger's brother. I am going to learn his name enough that I can just regurgitate it so easily in these reviews, but haven't quite mastered it yet. So anyway, they have a little talk about, sibling rivalries and some of their deeper issues, but he's sure that they will recover, and he's happy to have met her. And you guys know Lady Bridgerton has not been with anyone since her husband died, and that's got to be like 15 years ago. Maybe not that long, but her oldest son was a teenager, a young man. Not even a teenager when he passed. Anyway, so Colin sees Penelope and is furious. He's like, how long did you know? Did you know that she was Lady Bridgerton? Eloise is almost thinking that he's talking about Penelope, but he realizes that he's talking about Cressida. He wants to know how could she be friends with her. She lets him know that she didn't know until he found out, basically. And they have a conversation about how upset he is with Lady Whistledown, and Eloise learns that it's really, really deep. Like, but he also loves Penelope really deep, and how hurtful it would be for Colin to find out that Penelope is actually Lady Whistledown. Like, he's more upset about it than she was. So she vows to see if she can have a conversation and make Lady Whistledown never bother them again. So she goes to see Penelope. And Penelope really isn't trying to hear that she need to put down her pen. She has worked really hard for her tabloid, and that is her name, and Cressida don't get to take all her credit. And Eloise tell her, listen, you got to pick one. You're a Bridgerton now. So you're about to be a Bridgerton. And it would devastate Colin, and it would devastate him if he knew that I knew. So you need to let this go. And I'm a little annoyed with Penelope. Like, and she even says that, you know, she's, for so long, she has wanted to be so much a part of Eloise's family. But this is her name. And Eloise kind of smirks to herself and says, for so long, she's wanted to know about who Lady Whistledown is. So they both kind of recognize the irony. But I'm not sure if Penelope is willing to give up her pen for Colin's love. And that makes me sad. But Eloise leaves her with, listen, Cressida gave you a way out. You need to take it. I don't know what Penelope's going to do, y'all. Cressida and the Queen. The Queen does not believe that she is Lady Whistledown, and she is not giving her money until she gives her latest episode that should have been printed this morning. Of course, Cressida tells her that she apologizes. She doesn't have it. Her printer has gone weary. And the Queen lets her know that Lady Whistledown would not make such a mistake. She knows her worthy opponent. And if she don't have that issue, and until she has that issue, she don't want to see her in her court again. Her mom urges her not to print an article. Like, she knows this is not her strength. She didn't say this wasn't her strength, but she left that part out. But she urges her not to print an article. And she tells her, listen, if you keep up with this charade, no one will marry you. And she looks at her mom and she says, no one will marry me anyway. Child, what is Cressida gonna do? Cressida. I'm getting the name right. Y'all should be proud of me. Let's go. Oh, and Francesca and Carmarthen, Lord Carmarthen, are now engaged. And they need their mom. Well, not they, because she's not his mom. But Francesca needs her mom to speak with the Queen, because they know the Queen will not be happy with them announcing this engagement. And they don't want to wait until the end of the ball season. They're ready to start their lives. So the only way to get around that is to have Lady Bridgerton talk with the Queen. She says nothing. Take a big sip of her tea, and we'll see. Penelope and her mom. So Penelope's mom comes into her room. She's concerned because she should be excited and bubbly around the house. She's engaged to get married, and to Colin Bridgerton, who has a very respectful name, but she's been held up in the room. So they have a conversation basically about her duties as a wife, and her dreams are no longer hers. Her sole responsibility is to cater to her husband and make sure that he's happy, and be grateful that she has a nice husband. That is what women live for. That is their duty. They are raised to be wise. Penelope is like, what about my dreams? She was like, you don't have no dreams. I mean, you know, if you're lucky, after you've had children and done all the things that he needs you to do, you may be able to realize your dreams through him. But your life is no longer about you anymore. Your life is about the well-being of your husband. That is it. That is all. Penelope has a hard time with that. She's in tears, and the realization is hitting her. She's looking at this ring, and she's thinking hard, because she and Eloise says they will always be spinsters. They were not trying to live that life. And I was a little annoyed with Penelope about not putting down this pen, and she finally gets what she wants. But now I understand. It's her career. She's a liberal type girl, and that would be hard for me too. So y'all, let me tell you what I think gonna happen. I think she's not gonna be able to give up this pen. Lady Whistledown will be known to be her. Colin is going to be upset. They're gonna break up. But remember how much Colin loves her, right? He loves Penelope. And he's young too. He's known her since they were kids. I think it's going to come up that she's pregnant and they're going to have to get married anyway to avoid a scandal. And then they'll work things out and we'll move on to somebody else. Y'all remember Daphne and the Duke? Yeah, let's go. Laura Anderson and Lady Dandridge. So Laura Anderson is the chocolate drop that is interested in Lady Bridgerton, who is also Lady Dandridge's brother. Well, his arrival has caused quite a stir. A lot of the ladies are looking at him and they want to know who he is. Lady Dandridge has decided to play offense by playing matchmaker and introducing him to other women. It ain't working. He has eyes for Lady Bridgerton. Cressida and Eloise. So y'all know Cressida has to write this issue. They're out in a social setting, just kind of out in the park where everybody strolls and kind of mingles. It's right after church. I'm sorry. It's right after church. And so Eloise notices Cressida and she goes over to speak with her. Cressida tells her to kind of simmer it down. She snuck out. Nobody knows that she's out of the house. And she proposes for Eloise to help her write an article. Because, of course, she's got to write this issue. And she doesn't have a skill. But Eloise doesn't know that. Nor does Cressida know that Eloise knows that she's not really Lady Whistledown. So this is the setting for the conversation they're having. So, anywho, Eloise is like, I do not wish to be your co-writer. Do you remember what you wrote about me last year? She's like, well, together we can write a glorifying issue and kind of turn that all around. Eloise is like, no, I'm not interested. So Cressida quickly turns to Mean Girl and tells her that she's jealous of her success, and no wonder Penelope abandoned her. All she does is talk all the time. And Eloise takes it under the chin. She has a look like, yeah, I should have expected it. What was I thinking? She basically tells her good luck on her success and all her hard work. But the way she said it was like, it ain't your hard work. So they depart. Y'all, Penelope is giving it up. She has packed up the things, all her tools of Lady Whistledown, her ink, her pad. She's packed it up. She's placed it on her hidden board, covered it up. And all the issues that she have printed, she's throwing them in the fire. So she goes to see the dressmaker, who is also her distributor, I believe. She has a big part of it. And she lets her know that she has a really good match. She doesn't want to give that up. She appreciates it, so she will not be printing any more issues. And the dressmaker understands. And what I think about is, she's another person that knows who Lady Whistledown is, and this was a pretty good coin for her. So will she out her to get the money? We shall see. Y'all know I like a good conspiracy theory. Well, you don't know that. But yes, you do, because I just told you. Let's go. Meanwhile, Cressida's dad is going off. He's been ousted out of his club. He's on the way to ruins, being ousted out of society. He is pulling her dowry. This girl has to go. Her mother is pleading with him, but he don't care. He has to go. So she has to go, I'm sorry. So her mom comes in and talks to her and was like, listen, this may be the best thing to convince the queen so you can get this dowry and at least be able to care for yourself. And so she sits down and she's like, read to me what you wrote. My dearest reader, I am Lady Whistledown. I come to you with many gossip from all the lands, far and wide. My mom's like, that's it? She was like, that's it so far? Child, they devastated. And for the first time, Cressida admits to her mom that she's terrified and she's almost in tears. Her mom is trying to comfort her, and her mom is also thinking. And I don't know what they're going to do, honey, but I feel the strain for the mother and the daughter. This is terrible. Let's go. So now we get to learn the discord of why Lady Dandridge cannot stand her brother. So Lady Bridgerton is upset because of a conversation that she just had with her daughter, who feels like she doesn't support her connection with this gentleman. This is Francesca. So she runs out. Lady Bridgerton brothers notices it, so he is going out after her, and Lady Bridgerton. Lady Dandridge notices. Lady Dandridge brother notices it. Then Lady Dandridge notices it also, and so they kind of meet, and she's like, I will go after my friend. And he's like, you're not her only friend. And she says, must you take everything from me? He's like, what? So a little background. Lady Dandridge was betrothed to an old man. I mean, he was old and disgusting looking, but he had money. And so old, like gray hair, raggedy teeth. I mean, he even had dentures. It was terrible. And she had tried to escape, and she was almost going to escape her freedom. And she overheard her daddy thanking him for telling on her. And so he basically cost her life. And she tells him, these widows may think that you about something, but you ain't fooling me. That was interesting to learn the background of that. I just had to share it. Let's go. So Cressida enters the party, uninvited, dressed in red from head to toe, head held high, her mother right next to her, and everybody is whispering. The party stops. They calling her the devil. Some of the ladies want to leave and take their daughters. They don't want her writing about them. Some of the ladies like, let's see what's going to happen, because the queen is here. Cressida turns to her mom and she's like, what do we do? She said, nothing. You hold your head high and you wait until the queen summons you. The queen does summon her. She tells her, perhaps I wasn't clear. I said I didn't want to see you in or outside my court. Were you invited to this party? She said, no, ma'am. They have a little exchange. Cressida says, I just wanted to bring you a gift. Sure enough, the doors open and a new episode, well, kind of like a teaser of Lady Whistledown shows up. Everybody's getting a copy. It is an eloquently written teaser. Like, basically, I am here. I ain't went nowhere. You can expect another issue tomorrow. I know all your secrets. I've been watching and listening, and we about to get into it. The queen is intrigued. She said, I'm gonna see this issue tomorrow and we'll discuss your reward. And I noticed that her mom kind of moves her gloves, like move her hand up her glove or something, and the ink is on her. And this is so eloquently written. Her mom is writing this for her, but Penelope, she heated, because you know she don't want her taking credit for her name, and she assumes that it's gonna die with her. So I don't know if Penelope gonna let this ride, but Cressida signed it. Lady Whistledown, now formerly known as Cressida, whatever her last name is. Woo, it's heating up. Penelope starts that heart breathing thing again. She runs to Eloise. Well, I mean, not run, but she hurries to her. Eloise is panicking. She grabs Eloise's hand. Eloise's like, it's all my fault. Penelope says, come with me. And they scurry off. Colin notices it. and he's right behind them. They don't know it. They get into this room, they close the door, and Eloise is freaking out. She's like, it is all my fault. Baby, Eloise is freaking out. Yes, it's all her fault. She encouraged her to take the name of Lady Whistledown. Now she has somehow written something coherent. That was a dig, because nobody thought she could write. She's brought her into her home. She knows all the tea. They know how sinister she is, and she's got just as much power, now has just as much power as the queen, and she invited her into her home, have put her family in danger again. Penelope's like, no, let me take the blame. She didn't say let me take the blame. She's like, I did that. Y'all, I wonder if Colin is listening behind that door as these two are in here just spilling their guts to each other. Let's go. So Penelope says she can squash her. She's like, let me write one more issue. I can fix this. Let me write one more issue to discredit her, and then I'll be done. She remembers her very first issue that she wrote verbatim, and she's going to write one issue and be done, and that's how she can discredit her. She said, I wrote that because I was powerless in my home, because the first issue she talked about her family, like she scathed her own family and her mother and her sisters. And she said, I was powerless in my home, and it was the only way for me to have a voice. So my pen has done so much damage. Let me do, and what I should have been doing is giving, instead of spreading gossip, was giving more voices to the voiceless. I thought that was good, Penelope. She said, let me do something good with my pen. And Eloise agrees. One more issue. Just one. So, baby, Penelope is writing this issue in the carriage on the way to the printer. And she's coming alive, but as she's writing it, but she gets it to the printer, her carriage pulls up there, she's all cloaked and quiet and, covered. She beats on the door. He does come out. She tells him to get it done and get it done ASAP. She breathes a sigh of relief, honey. She got it there, and she is good. Turns around, and Colin walks up on her. First thing he says is, you. That was too dramatic, but I was trying to portray how ticked off he is. She says, Colin, oh my goodness, y'all, this is getting good. Well, it is good. It's always been good. Lady Whistledown. That is her, and Colin is shocked. Ooh, child, what's gonna happen? That's episode 6. 2 more episodes to go. I was so excited to see this come back. I can't even speak good English. I have not looked to see how many episodes they actually dropped, but that is season 3, part 2, episode 6. Let me know what you guys think. I so appreciate you stopping by. Netflix, Bridgerton, Lady Whistledown. Girl. Colin gonna be upset, but I can't even be too, I don't even care to, because I'm pretty sure the scandal is gonna be that Penelope is pregnant. I'm hoping so. I don't know. Ciao. I'll talk to y'all soon. I'm out.